if you can't read it, I'll just say this one out loud, but you guys have got a copy of this yourselves. There are 3 identical blue marbles, and there are 4 identical yellow marbles, arranged in a row. So, for starters, if we're arranging the blue and yellow marbles in a row, does the order matter or not?
Yes.
Because what they're saying is if I go yellow, blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue, that's different from yellow, 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 blue, 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 right? That's a different arrangement. So we're talking about the order mattering. Am I using all of the marbles?
Yes.
I'm taking the 3 blue, the 4 yellow, and I'm putting them in a row. So yes, I'm using all of them.
So,
Yeah, so we're going factorial. Okay? So, how many different arrangements are possible? Well, there's going to be 7 factorial arrangements.
Yeah, 5 factorial.
But, if I go yellow, 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 blue, 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 at this stage, 7 factorial is saying, if I just switch those two and write yellow, 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 blue, 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 that's a different arrangement, right?
Yeah.
Which you can see it's not.
Miss, how about you write yellow 1 to yellow 4?
We could, but they're saying that they're identical. It's just like if you've got a word and you've got repeated letters in that word. So we have to now divide by 3 factorial repetitions of the blue and 4 factorial repetitions of the yellow.
I don't know what that is.
35, Brandon. 35.
Brandon!
Okay. Now, you have to concentrate. It now says how many different arrangements of just 5 of the marbles are possible. So, are we using all of the marbles anymore?
No, just
So
5.
now that we're using 5, we've taken it instead where we're looking at a permutation instead of a factorial question. Alright? Now, there's a bit of a trick to this. You can't do this in one go and know what to divide by for your repetitions because you don't know which 5 you've got on top. So we have to consider all the different combinations of 5 marbles that we could have. Okay? So are there any restrictions on how many of one colour or another that we're allowed to have? No. Okay. So, what's the most number of blue I can have?
3, 6.
How many blue marbles did we start with? 3. So you've got 3 blue. Alright? So I could have 3 blue and therefore how many yellow? 2. Or I could have 2 blue and
3 yellow.
3 yellow. 1 blue and 4 yellow. Can I go as far as no blue, 5 yellow? Because that's the maximum number of yellow I've got. Right? Okay. Now, we're going to treat it in the same way as this. If I do this first combination here, I've still got 5 marbles altogether that I'm arranging. But I have a repetition of 3 blue and 2 yellow. If I do this, I still have 5 marbles from which I'm choosing, but I have a repetition of 2 blue and 3 yellow, which actually ends up being the same as the previous one. Right?
Yeah, it's just the
And if I do this one, I've still got 5 marbles that I'm using. There's no repetitions on the blue, but I've got 4 repetitions on the yellow. Okay? Now if I do this one here, I get 10 from memory. Yep. So therefore that's also 10. But you guys should be able to work that one out without a calculator. Why is that, Colin?
Because factorial 4 is from 1 multiplied to 4 and factorial 5 is from 1 multiplied to 5.
So remember, 5 factorial is the same as 5 times 4 factorial, right? So you cancel that out. So if I add those together, I get 25 different ways I can arrange the marbles. So the difficulty comes when you can have different combinations, you've got to treat them separately and say or, which is adding. All right? Any questions on that? We good? We're not good?
Why don't we use the P, like NPR, because it's...
Because what we're ending, you mean like going, I'm choosing 5 from 7? The problem comes in with choosing 5 from 7 is you really need to have 5 different items from 7. Because how do I know what to divide by for my repetitions if I'm not knowing which ones I had in the first place? So you can't do this denominator bit without considering which combination you had in the first place. So it makes it very difficult to do that way. Yeah?
Yes, to an extent.
If it was just something like there was a 7-letter word and every letter was different, how many different 5-letter words could you form? Then you could go 7P5. But as soon as there's some repetitions, it makes it difficult to do. Okay. Alright guys. Now this one requires you to think. Not that any of the others didn't, but this one requires you to think. I imagine that there will be, most of you will be able to get out 90% of this, but there'll be something that you'll miss. So there is a total of 5 players to be selected at random from 4 sporting teams. Each of the teams consists of 10 players numbered from 1 to 10. Now again, we're talking about, I've lost the word, selection versus arrangement. And what does the word selection indicate? Combination. And again, we're also talking about teams rather than something that has some sort of hierarchy to it. Okay, we want a total of 5 people to be chosen. How many people are there altogether to choose from? Because there are 10 players in each of 4 teams. So there are 40 players altogether. Okay? So, what's the probability that the 5 players are numbered 6 and 2, that 3 are numbered 6 and 2 are numbered 8. Okay? Now we're talking probability. So for starters, the probability of having 3 6s and 2 8s is going to equal the restricted combinations over the unrestricted. Okay, so we need to consider what's our unrestricted situation. How many players are we choosing? 5 from how many altogether? 40. That means no restrictions, right? So the number on the bottom is that we've got 40 to choose from, of which we want 5. Okay? Now we've got to look at our restricted combination. I want to pick 3 6s. How many 6s are there altogether out of those 40 people? 4. Because every team has 1 6. Every team has 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, etc. So there's 4 teams. So there's 4 6s to choose from, and I want 3. Okay? And then the next part is that I want 2 8s. There's also 4 8s to choose from, of which I want 2. Okay? Now if I do that, I get 24 over, 40C5, I didn't write that down. So you get, 1 on, 2, 7, 4, 1, 7. Big, right?
That's really small.
That's a good odds.
Well, sorry, that number's big.
If you're buying a lottery ticket, that's a good odds.
You reckon that's a good odds for lottery, but not good odds in general? Yeah.
Question.
Okay,
Buy that many lotteries.
I want to rub this off because I want some room for the next part. Don't forget to the solutions are on your Google Classroom. While you're waiting, this is the one where I think people might forget something. So it says, what's the probability? So we're going to have to again go restricted over unrestricted. That the 5 selected players contain at least 4 players from the same team. So this is one of those questions where we've got to consider the 2 different options. Okay. So probability at least for same team. Now, again, the unrestricted, we're still choosing 5 people from a total of 40, okay? If I've got at least 4 from the same team, then I could have 4 from the same team and 1 from a different team, because I've got to make 5 altogether, or I could have all 5 from the same team, yeah? So I could have 4 from the same team, which means I'd have to go 10, choose 4 from the same team, yeah? And the extra 1 would come from the remaining 30 people, not from 10, right? Because there's 30 remaining. Now I've left a gap here because I want to talk about something. And then it's or, so it's plus. I could have all 5 from the same team of 10 and none from the remaining 30. But which team have I chosen from? So there are, I've got to choose 1 team from a possible 4. And the same here. I don't know which team. So say I had, the teams were coloured, right? Yes, I can choose 5 from the same team, but it could have been from the blue team, it could have been from the yellow team, it could have been from the green team, it could have been from the red team. There are 4 different choices of having 5 people from the same team. And that's the bit that I was saying I think people might forget about, particularly.
I'll definitely forget about that.
Right? And if you do that, it simplifies to 28 out of 703.